Hi there. Well, it's Andrew here. Some ideas. Topic is mental health. So, Christian perspective. There's a lot of scriptures that relate to mental health. 1 Peter 5:7 is a good starter. There's prayer, or a prayer ministry that helps. That answering the question, what does God have for us to help with our mental health? There's a lot of scriptures, a lot of formulas and advice I think God has for helping people. A lot of truths, spiritual truths about mental health. Right, let's move on. There's a project there. Right, oh, okay, so it's just a little bit more. So what do we need? We need to be able to get information, truth and knowledge about ourselves and our minds and what's really going on. For example, what's a list of probable causes of mental health problems? A list. Just got a few starters here. Moral sin. You'd have to look that up. Spiritual attacks is an interesting one. So these are the causes, things that are causing spiritual attacks. Now, in the Christian framework, we have demons and devils that can cause that they attack people. They bring people into temptation and they attack them. So they're very accusatory. Satan's an accuser, so he's going to attack you. You attack your mind through a spiritual place. So, okay, more causes. Poor education and thinking. So, I mean, in a sensible way, what is mental health? What is thinking if it's not mental? What is education if it's not mental? It's got something to do with it, I think. Yeah, the people catching on to how teachers can help people. Right, another one. Poor diet. So poor nutrition. If you have poor nutrition for a long time, of course something's going to not be right. If you have fish and chips every day or 3 times a week and that's all you eat, your system's going to get worn out by that. Lack of exercise. Too much exercise, not getting the food and rest, and if you're going to do a lot of exercise, you need some good rest and lots of good food. You don't do a lot of exercise without getting that food back in and that rest. Poor social life. Here's a big one. Social isolation, or just not being out, not having friends, and I think that area needs improvement. Family life. Poor family connections. So maybe we've broken up with our family. We've lost the bond with mum, dad, brothers, sisters. That's not helping, eh? A low self-esteem because society, because people who come to the attention of mental health system, we're quirky. In a lot of ways, we're quirky. We don't fit in to society in the normal way, and there's something beautiful about that as well, as ugly or whatever. Right. So there's some just more useful information about mental health. So the idea of working with your mind. You need to teach your mind to work with its mind, and this has to do with what people see, what people hear, every day. Quality things to see and hear and do. This is a gradual process that can improve mental health if people get directed, get better at being friends with others. I've done that one before. Get better at being friends with others. Friendship can make a big difference, can it? Participation from those in relationships, professional, and real quality time. Right, so, like with the mental health systems and then the relationships, that between everyone's professional and the clients and everything, well, you're not really getting a lot of time, a lot of quality time, right? You're not getting a lot of time with these people. They're not mixing, they're not participating with you in a very personal way. That's could be better, you know. Skills to learn about, okay, intellectual, uh, mental health patients because they've had problems here. Why not learn to play chess? Why not learn to play your musical instrument? Why not start reading books, learning how to read again as a way of getting information? Um, why not learn a bit about who you are and what you need, who other people are, what they need, what feelings are all about, so that and also with this communication, social communication, because that's what we do, and that's what the world does, and it'd be good if we had better ways of communicating to the people we need to, and that's hard. That's a hard process. It's hard for everyone involved. People don't listen very well, no matter who you are. Okay, so I found out Peter Gerlach. This is a reference. Someone on the YouTube channel called the Gerlach channel. Liberal Education. You got Mortimer J. Adler, and there's a lot of books on Amazon. And not all books are equal. Some books are more. They have more for you. Some just more useful information. Okay, at this stage in history, 2020, there's opportunities, there's potential for improvement in several novel and different areas of helping people up here. Education, you can aim it to get people independent so they can be self-developing themselves. We've got here general education about reality in a variety of subject topic areas in a natural free zone. So I'm saying mental health patients, clients could be given an educational treatment to learn about reality in a variety of subject topic areas in a natural free zone, because it's going to be so liberal, it's going to be so open. It's not like a course where they're going through. It's more like wise people have said, hey, there's this area and that area you want to be looking at, right? More efforts. You can't change up here without some effort, right? And novelty, energetic activities. More ingredients need to be put in. Not drug ingredients. More ingredients are required in the clients' and the patients' lives as every day, because it takes years of daily adding to the minds and the lives and the bodies and the minds every day. Stir it up every day, and this produces good results in the end. Yeah. Conversations, colloquial, regular discussions, aiming at raising the understanding, the educative process. So what I'm talking about here needs more work. Useful information here. People doing things together, but also self-reliant exercises. Enable somebody to facilitate with more frequency every day, even enriching personal moments. People people remember things not always what's intended to be remembered. It's those special moments where people share wisdom or say something, give something away for free, that gives the person a bit of insight they remember. Now, areas, important things get neglected, right? Like the COVID-19's an invisible enemy. Well, here's some other invisible enemies. And I've got them here just written: negligences, neglect of emotional needs, neglect of abstract ideas, neglect of honesty and truth. And that makes a big difference. Unless you've got people... I got to be careful. I don't want to run down the... There's the good side and a bad side to the history of psychiatry. There's a good side to it, and there's a bad side to it. Don't just focus on the bad side, but it does need to be addressed. So I'm claiming here, it's a bit of a hypothesis, although I haven't been to university. I don't know what all that stuff's really about. There's better ways, is what I'm saying, truer ways, more effective ways of addressing and treating serious mental illness in ways that cause it to change, that help it to get healing in where previously there was no healing from the standard psychotherapy or drugs. It's been overlooked and dismissed, and that's what I'm going to try and mention here, why I'm writing this. Points of view. So scientific knowledge, medicine. Okay, there's the church and the faith. How that knowledge there's been dismissed or overlooked. Re-asking the questions: Who is a man? Who are you? Who am I? What's your identity? Am I just body and brain? And what's my mind? What is my mind compared to that brain? What is my spirit and soul as a Christian? Where's that non-material? Well, how does that going to fit in? Who am I? Who's my Father in heaven? He's my Father. Who am I? Who am I really then? A child of God. Well, where does people come from in the medicine? Do they see that? Or are they seeing everything else that they've been... Yeah. Right. What's been done at the clinical level? What's not been done is really the focus here. They say, there's been no evidence, research, anything else helps. Well, let's just make them prove that. Where are they getting that reference from? Where's that citation from, right? What exactly doesn't work? What's been done and what's not been done? Anyway, what are the needs of a human mind? List them. Okay, some of this needs more work. What do you think a list of human needs of the human mind? Is a human being sacred? Does he have a soul? Who is important? Person, a living being. Why does that matter? Okay, so we've got physical needs, our brain and mind, social thing. There's a need there, intellectual needs. Alright. So yeah, mental health information here. Real traction and teeth. So real power to change a person's life. I don't know if drugs are going to be able to do that very much. Wouldn't it be more helpful if you can change the brains through more natural ways, such as thought, education, thinking skills, making people more consciously aware, and change their brains that way? Because that kind of change, which is better, won't come by meds alone. It needs to come by people perhaps putting an effort into somebody, them and themselves putting an effort in. Because at the moment, from what I've observed in my life, interviews and appointments with the professionals in mental health, it's a minimal time, and it can't really cover very much. They're not teaching you a lot. There could be more time and effort put in. And when you ask, they might delegate that and say, look, I'm not. You can go and see so and so, and we can book you in there and take care of that. But that's a bit poor, really, to delegate and just focus on drugs and evaluations and delegate other things that do have a bearing on a person's state of mind. That is more helpful. There is more effective help that can be done at home. At home. On the street. To direct people, get them unstuck. Casual and informal ways of mixing and having experiences. Participation happens. It can be, or a person should be able to say, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I've got it covered. If they have got it covered. Define madness and foolishness. Define mental illness. Define how it happens, what causes it, and what would cure it. What do you think can help reverse that and build the person's, if there's something gone there, what can build that and strengthen that? Cure it. What would build and cure the thing? Well, it's the way the mind functions, isn't it? As well as just the time frames involved to get people on their feet again and manage their own lives again. Okay, it's different for different people, and you've got to expect that it's going to take several years for most people, at least. What's done and not done by the health departments and mental health systems in the New Zealand DHBs, what's actually done and not done, and it's that area that's not done which is the opportunity for real change, and I'm excited about. For example, to instill a hope, there's a ladder that we can climb up and get, there's hope. Raise the expectations. What is going on? What are we trying to do? Okay, so some information. There's a lack, I think, of coherence and meaning and relevance to the client on the ground, so to speak. He lives in his mind. He wants some relevance, meaning, and coherence. Well, how is the treatment at the present way it is, with the science and the practice of it? How's that really bringing a coherence, meaning, and relevance to his life? It's not so much, is it? This mental life exists 24/7. There's big gains. probably in the community life where the person really is every day, at home, meeting people, friendships, working in our own ways and interests and activities, growing and building our lives, looking at what maybe things we can have fun practicing. Intelligence may be something that is in a human being at all. It needs nurturing and learning, reasons to live and find tools in that. I think the intelligence is there in everyone. We're going to find ways of nurturing it out, getting people involved, sharing knowledge, direct minds into the right types of learning exercises, a variety of things. It's about real mental life occurring, ideas, thinking occurring. Sounds very much a bit like educational things as well. So we have some areas here. List of mental exercises. List of curricula almost. Spiritual exercises. How can God help us? How can the Bible help us? What are all the scriptures where God provides His love and care that say, here's what you can do about this? Personal development of a person, who they are, their fingerprint, their own hobbies and own interests, their own self-development planning, not somebody else's. Get the person to find their hobby, interest, their own self-development. For goodness sake, don't keep them locked up and in a boring life and on drugs and appointments and being controlled like sheep. For goodness sake, give them their human dignity and their human chance to self-develop and grow out of this stuff. Another area, time management skills. Another area, financial literacy. Another area, learn about employment, what labour is. There's a lot of stuff we don't know, and we've been left out to dry. Nobody's told us. So the thing about what mental clients, we tend to have a lot of time. We can make better use of that time. We want to. We would need to. But also, the mental health service. Look, the good side. It's got its own wants and needs, which are not the same as what the client's wants and needs are. There might be a list of the needs and wants of clients, and a list of needs and wants of doctors and nurses, and hospital systems. They're different. They don't always cross over. So there can be conflicts of interest and frustrations, clashing, mashing up. When doctors and nurses want this, client wants this and this. And maybe they're both sides are valid in some ways. Mental health wants. I want, such and such person wants. Ooh. And when they don't match, it's not good enough for both of them. So the targets to work on. Well, you're dealing with vulnerable people. We're all vulnerable people. What's the targets we should work on? What goals? So here's some ideas. Communication courses. Because many aspects of our lives, the neglected parts, the mental defects, we can learn these skills again. Come on, don't just say we're retarded, deficient, we're at some level and we're never going to change. Well, no, we can be taught. We can learn to learn. We can learn to learn a bit more, eh? Lift up the old intelligence, bring it out. So communication course. Course about economics and labour. Work theory of what that's all about. I said that before. Yeah, what about learning how to support yourself at home? What is home life about? What's expected in the home? What are your responsibilities in the home? money, furniture, location, being a provider, like looking after, and a steward to the other people. Alright. Improve the thinking skills and the decision making skills and the good judgment of every client of the mental health service. That won't happen unless somebody takes responsibility and to improve that functioning, try and improve it. Don't just numb the brain and control people that you don't like what they're doing. There needs to be like improving the attitudes, motivation somehow. I know it's some of those people's fault, but the fault's on both sides. And so anyway, here's a way to help people to learn. Do a course on the grammar, logic, rhetoric, trivium method of critical thinking. Do a big course on that so people can learn to ask questions like who, what, when, where, why, and how. Rhetoric, speaking and doing. Logic's understanding stuff. General grammar's these words, what the words mean, the dictionary words. Words about ideas, and general grammar, specific grammar, specialised grammar. Improve, like maybe help people to learn to draw a little bit, just basic. Can you draw a few small outlines of something? Drawing skill, observation, listening skills. Improve people's listening and observation. To get exercises that help them to learn about that. Right. What I'm going to do is, it's almost been half an hour. I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3. At least a part 2 and 3. So I'll finish this soon and do another video. Recognise the power of alternatives over drugs. Got to introduce new behaviours that have significant present and future hope. People need real friendships. They need to improve their thinking and brain function. This will represent a direction change towards a cure. Long-term gains, decades, 5 years, 10 years. These things work. I think the evidence is there from a lot of the branches of science that this can help. This can work. This works. It does work. But only if you put lots of effort in to climb this ladder, to take this learning curve. It's inevitable that you're going to change your brain by doing these things. Getting instruction on how to do this better would be helpful. It's doable if organised right. The system's not trying to organise it right. There's an opportunity here. Aim to promote this, that in 10 years you can get a normal mind and wean off your drugs, because you learn to stand on your own 2 feet and you're strengthening the bit of brains that you've been needing some improvement. Right, it's about half an hour, so I'll stop this one so that the attention span's probably, long enough. And also, like I said, a lot in this video, and a lot of it actually needs filling in. it's almost like I'm giving somebody, perhaps hopefully some people, projects to try and fill out these unknowns. There's a lot that needs to be, even what I've said needs a lot of more work to fill in those. But I've given some, what I think is the bits that are going to be fruitful. So thanks for listening, Andrew here, and yeah.